All right, everybody. We're now joined by co-head coach Karen Weekly. You guys are free to take it away whenever you're ready. We'll start with Kellyanne.
Hey, Coach Weekly, congratulations. Was earning the 9th national seed what you guys were expecting?
You know, it was so hard this year to expect anything with COVID and how it affected different conferences. And some played conference only, some played a normal schedule like the SEC with a mix of non-conference and conference. So nobody really knew what the committee was going to do with that. All year long, our RPI had been hovering around that, 9, 10, 11 mark. So if you went straight by RPI, you would think we would be around there, but it was just so hard to say. I think we were, expecting to host, playing for that going into the SEC tournament. Not sure how that would land, but then really, really happy when we saw that 9 seed.
Yeah, quick follow-up if you don't mind. How excited was the team to find that out and find out that they're hosting the regional, because their reaction on Twitter was awesome?
Yeah, super excited. When you saw those 20 potential host sites come out, a week ago, 10 days ago, might even be longer. Those are 20 really, really good programs and great options to host. So we knew it was going to be competitive. It offered up a lot of conversation over the last 2 weeks. Who do you think's going to get it? And we just feel very fortunate that we have the opportunity to host. I think it's a credit not just to our team and our performance on the field, but also to hosted in the past and what good feedback we get from all the schools that come here and what a great job we do.
Madison.
Coach, your program has gone to the NCAA tournament every year that it's been held since 2004. What does that just say about the legacy that this program has and the success that it's found in the NCAA tournament?
Well, that's important to us, that consistency, to not just be a 1-year wonder and then fight to get back in it, for a few years. It speaks to the quality of the players and the people that are in this program. They come here because they want to play in big games. They want to compete for championships. They understand that not only is that an opportunity, but it's an expectation here. And they embrace the tradition and the legacy of being a Lady Vol and what it means to be a Lady Vol softball player.
And a quick follow-up, now you guys host Eastern Kentucky on Friday. You opened the season with a doubleheader against them. What do you remember from the start of the season? And is there anything that you really can take from meeting them the first time?
I remember how cold it was. I remember how frantically we worked, Jane and I, their head coach, to get that set up after we got completely washed out down at Coastal Carolina. I don't think they even hit the road. They got washed out wherever they were supposed to play. So that first weekend was a real challenge for everyone. But what I know about Eastern Kentucky and Jane, they don't shy away from anybody. They're going to go wherever they need to go to play the best competition they can. She's always been that way. It's a interesting regional in that we do have familiarity with all 3 teams. James Madison 2 years ago, but the other 2 opponents just from this year. But I remember that they were very tough. We played a doubleheader and one game, we won pretty big, but the second game was a nail biter. So they're going to be a very tough opponent on Friday.
Andrew.
Yeah, Coach, just how obviously home field advantage is a great thing to have, but just how much is like not having to travel and just being familiar with the area you're in, how does that impact the team and just benefit y'all?
Well, what I love about it is, we'll have our fans here. People don't have to travel, so obviously we'll have more people cheering for us. The locals will be out there leading the cheers. I hate that we can't go to 100% like they could for baseball last weekend, but I think that's an NCAA mandated deal. But the other thing too is, you get another day of practice really, because if you're traveling, you're probably traveling on Wednesday to get here for your practice time on Thursday. So that really cuts into what you're able to do on Wednesday. And I love the fact that we can just have a normal week here with our practice schedule. Obviously, sleeping in your own bed and just the comforts of your own facility and everything that you're used to doing in your normal routine is big.
Will Backus?
Yeah, you talked about how this region was interesting because it's kind of filled with teams that you've seen this season or previously. I guess what are the benefits of that with two teams that you've seen this season and then one that you've seen a few times over the last few years?
Well, the benefit is potentially a curse too, but you have some familiarity. You're not scrambling for film. Last night at midnight, we were scrambling on JMU because we haven't seen them for 2 years. They still have a lot of their really key players back. One of their top pitchers is still back, and young lady Kate Gordon at the top of their order that just destroyed us 2 years ago down at Clearwater. She's still back. But they're the only team that we don't have a lot on because we haven't played them. The other two we've played, but they've played us. So, that kind of evens itself out. It's just a matter of who can do the most with it. So it's good in the sense that you have some familiarity, but also you got to make sure that your team doesn't overlook anybody. We were fortunate to win 2 against Eastern Kentucky and then to beat Liberty. And Liberty's a really good team. And I think the week we beat Liberty was a turning point week for our team. It was a week when we really decided, hey, if we're going to quit talking about how good we could be and actually show it, this is the week we have to do it. And we played Liberty and then had the Kentucky series here that weekend. We knew Liberty was coming off of beating Arkansas at Arkansas and completely shutting them down. So we prepared very hard for Liberty, and we're going to have to prepare harder to be able to be successful in this regional.
Back over to Andrew.
Just going into these games, we know obviously there have been a few injuries on the season, but are there any injuries that are still bothersome or that are a cause for concern going into this weekend?
Over the course of the year, we have had starters out for a total of 60 games from the beginning of the season through the weekend. There's nobody that was in our starting lineup that is out right now. It's that time of year where people are nursing things, trying to, manage things as best they can. We're giving people plenty of days rest because that's definitely a need at this point in time. But, and like Ashley Rogers, everybody knows she's been battling some things, and, that's what prevented us from being able to put her in the game late on Friday down there against Alabama. Just wasn't able to go. So, we're just managing things, but no, nobody's out.
Madison?
Coach, we talked some this weekend just how important it is to play a tough SEC schedule and just how talented the SEC is as a whole in softball. What did last week, how did it prepare you for the NCAA tournament and what's to come, just playing in the SEC tournament and competing the way you guys did and seeing some of the top talent in the nation?
Well, the SEC always prepares you, but I think the key for last week was, we came off that really tough week to end the season where we had to play 8 SEC games in a week because of the COVID postponement. And, that was unlike anything anybody else had to do. That was pretty rough. And, we took a few lumps. We were in the middle of finals. 5 of those 8 games were on the road, long road trips, nothing short there. So I think for us to go into the SEC tournament and play as well as we did, just really proved to our girls, hey, we are a tough team. We are a good team. We can beat anybody. That was a week that presented a lot of obstacles. We got through it. We're done with exams. Now it's just softball. And I was really, really pleased with the way we performed and the way we fought, the way we competed at the SEC tournament.
Any more questions for Coach?
Yes. How do you think this tournament and these regionals, just how do you think your seniors are taking this, especially losing a year last year? Just how do you think they're going to play, knowing that it's probably going to be their last tournament and last regionals and everything? It's
an interesting question and observation because we know it is. We know that if we're fortunate to win this regional, that there's a pretty good chance we won't be playing at home for supers if Missouri wins theirs. So I think I know they're very excited, and they have relished every moment of this year. Everybody has, because of what happened last year. I think the challenge for seniors always is to not put too much into every moment because it's your last year, and try to make up for lost time or worry about performing well because you don't have another day. So that's what we're always talking to them about, is just stay in the moment. Just be where your feet are, enjoy the present, fully immerse yourself in the moment you're in.
Last call for
And-
questions.
Yeah, just a follow up to that one. How do you think your seniors experience, obviously they've hosted a few regionals. How do you think that can benefit some of your younger players, and just what advice do you think they'll have to offer?
Well, I think they've done a great job with that throughout the year, just getting them prepared for SEC play. And, the unique thing again is usually what kind of gets your younger players are the environments in SEC. And because of COVID, we didn't have that this year. The first real crazy environment was down there at Alabama for the SEC tournament. I don't know what the official capacity was supposed to be, but it was pretty well packed, and it was loud, and that was cool. That was a lot of fun. But they've done a really great job of just talking them through everything and telling them about the mistakes they made. And usually it centers around one thing: don't make it any bigger than it is. It's still softball, and you know how to play softball, just play the game.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I appreciate you all joining us, and thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
You all have a good day.